Guys, attendance enabled. Uh, any specific reason for low turnout? It has not it hasn't even touched 50 as of now, and I suppose the last class would have ended on at 12 or something like. So you had a 15-minute break also. And attendance is enabled, so please put it. Okay, so we have 62 people. I think we'll have to start with these many. This week, something before we start the actual discussion. So uh, about the problems with lab schedule. Mary ma'am has given us some timings. So basically, they are 12:15 p.m. to 12:15 to 1 to 3. So 12:15 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday. One for the IT and CS guys, and the other one for CS, IT plus guys, and one for CSAI plus guys. I'll have to check which one is for which batch. That I'll have to check. But the idea is that in that case, we'll have our labs from 1 p.m. To 3 p.m. That is the slot that I can get, right? I mean, I know it's a very awkward slot uh, because you'll have to have your lunch before 1 or after 3. Um, but that is the only slot that we can manage where you are free as well as the TAs are free. So you'll get a break from 12:15 to 1. So whatever light lunch you can have, please have it at that time. And yeah, so it's like this, Anukul. You might not have a class on Wednesday, so then it's like this, right? So one of you guys will have it on Tuesday and the other one will have it on Wednesday. I don't really remember which batch is free on what day. Okay, if you are saying you have a class on Tuesday, then your lab will be 12:15 to whatever time it is on Wednesday. It's like this, right? So it's the other way around, like this. But the issue is that Mary ma'am has not yet sent the timetable to you guys officially. So I'll have to check with her because that timetable must be sent to all the faculty members as well as the students. Um, Before that, I do not have the authority to simply change the slot on my end. But this is like a kind of advance intimation to you guys that this is the slot that we've been given, and there was no other slot that we could have managed. So the idea is something like this: if you guys get an email today for the confirmation of timetable, then we'll have a lab tomorrow and day after tomorrow. If you don't get it, then of course we have no choice but to wait till the next week. But this is the only slot that we have, and it's a very inconvenient slot, but that is the only slot where you are free as well as the TAs are free. So anyhow, let's move ahead to the discussion. So this is today we are going to discuss lecture 8.1. That is about this is a continuing discussion about functions. We have seen something about functions in the previous week, so this is a continuing discussion, and I would now want some volunteers for shepherding. Okay, let me open my sheet. Mm, okay. Yeah. Pranav, your roll number and section.
AI 10.
AI 10. Okay. Yash,
Sir, AI 43.
AI 43. Okay, got it. And anyone else? I'll be happy if I have at least one more. Yeah, Vatsal, your roll number and section.
AI 1313.
13. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Acha, Karthik is there. Karthik, your roll number and section.
20, sir.
Pardon?
CS20.
CS20. CS20. Yeah, got it. Okay, so let me just uh yeah, I think 4 are enough. I can probably have 5, I guess. Anukul and Jay, you could be shepherds tomorrow. I'll just take your name. You will be shepherds tomorrow. Rama, your roll number and
AI 6.
AI 6. Just a minute. AI 6. Mm, Okay, so we have five shepherds today, and let me just yeah, Sahil, you can be tomorrow as well. So let's start. Hmm. Okay, can you guys see my screen now? Okay, so
Yes.
I'm going to mute myself and let the shepherds take over. Okay.
So I would like to start with the first question. Like, what are parameters to function by value? If we declare any variable in the main function and pass it by value to some another function, then if we made any changes in the function, it will not reflect in the main function. That's what we pass it by value. Means it only
Yeah,
reflects
so
in the function in we made changes.
yeah, so basically what we have been doing until now is basically passing by value, especially if we are doing like passing integers or floats or doubles or characters and stuff like that. So we are basically passing the value, copying the entire value and giving a copy of the variable to the function which is called. So this is passing by value. And I'll just move to the next question. Passing by reference is kind of different. So if you guys remember using functions like trim for string manipulation. So if we call trim function on a character array, then this is passing by reference. In this case, the uh, variable itself, even though trim does not return anything, the variable which we passed is modified, and uh, the string in the variable is modified. So this is passing by reference.
Yeah,
In
passing
passing by reference, our formal parameters are pointers, and in this case, the actual and the formal parameters actually refer to the same memory location. So, if we make any changes in them, so they are reflected in the main function variables as well.
Any questions, guys?
Yeah, by reference, it
Any
means we
doubts?
are doing with the addresses. Uh, I think any guy in chat.
So anything about any doubts about what exactly do we say? What exactly do we mean by passing by value versus passing by reference? Okay, what exactly? Do you guys understand the difference now? If you have any queries, please put it up. Okay, Sahil wants another explanation. Go ahead.
I
Yeah,
can
I'll
try.
just
Actually, passing by reference means that your actual and the formal parameters are pointing at the same memory location. And in passing by value, they may be the same variable, but they are actually pointing to different memory locations. If you make changes in either of them, they won't reflect on one another. I mean, they are independent variables in passing by value, and passing by reference, if you change either of them, they will be reflected on each other. I mean, if you change one, the other will also be changed because they point to the same memory location.
okay. I'll add an example. I hope this clarifies the whole thing. So, for example, you're working on a project, a group project, like let's say system management project. So, what you and let's say you are the group anchor or group lead. So, you create a Google document, you take the URL and you send it to your group members, so that if your group members will edit the document, then you will see the edited document. So this is like passing by reference. You're basically giving the address of the document to your teammates. uh, Meanwhile, another option is you could download the document, or you could create the document on your computer in Word, and you could send that document, the whole document, on WhatsApp. So in this case, if your teammate modifies the document on WhatsApp, like on his computer, then your version is not modified at all. So in this case, the your teammate will have to return the modified document to you, to so that you will be able to see the changes that are made. I hope this clears it up.
So basically, the parameters passed in the function calling statement are copied into the formal parameters in the function definition. So any changes in the formal parameters won't affect the actual parameters. What happens in pass by references, you're actually sending the address of the original variables that you accept. So in the function, if you do any changes to these variables, the actual values, any changes in the function at all, will affect the original values. That's basically the difference.
Uh, so yeah, I hope Sahil, it's clearer now. Um, so let's yeah, and if anyone has any more queries, please go ahead. So otherwise we can go to question 3. I think question 3 we have probably already discussed a little bit. Pranav has taken an example, but we can probably just spend a little more time on question 3.
Yeah, I can go with the question number 3, guys. Yeah, generally we have two types of functions, calling function and the called function. The function which is calling is known as calling function, and which is being called can be said as a called function. Yeah, the side effects means that when we are obtaining the undesired changes in the values of variables in the calling function. This means when we are defining the variables in the another function, if this affects the variables in the calling function, then the effects, undesired effects, can be called as side effects. And when we, for example, when we passing the parameters by value, I think we cannot see these side effects as in the function. Suppose f of a comma 5 and g of some x comma y, and they exactly take the integers, and from that we don't have any effect on the side effect. But when we are taking the pass by reference, then we have to return the outputs at a time. So then there will be a side effect. That means there will be a desirable change in the variables in the calling function. So during the when we passing the parameters by reference, we can see the side effects in the variables. Anyone
Yeah.
can go on.
Also
I,
sometimes the side we want the side effects, so at that time we will pass it by reference.
Yeah, so I'll give an example of where you need a function to swap two variables. Suppose you input two values, int a is equal to 5 and int b is equal to 8 or something like that. And then you have a function which swaps these two values. So if you pass by reference, what happens is the values of a and b, 5 and 8, are passed by value, and they are copied in the function call in the function definition where the function is defined. Like suppose you have int swap, and in the brackets you have int c and int d. So the values 5 and 8 are copied into d, and then afterwards when you swap c and d and you return these values, a and b are not affected. But when you do it by reference, when you pass these values by reference, what happens is the actual values of A and B are swapped because you're passing the memory locations of A and B. You're not creating any copy. So the original values are used when you're swap. And in case this is indirectly what you're doing is you're returning two values here. You're returning the changed value of A and you're returning the changed value of B without using the return statement. So it's like if in case you need to return more than one value, you can do this. It's like an indirect one value. But but you have to be careful because if you pass by reference and if you don't want these values to change the original values, if you need the original values somewhere later on in the code, if passed by reference and these values change, then it'll become a problem.
Yeah, so continuing my example, like the Google Docs one, in this case, if you are sending it to your friend via WhatsApp, So whatever he changes will not be changed. However, if he edits the Google document, in that case, if he accidentally deletes some of the work that you have already done, then this is a side effect, and sometimes this might be not desired. So in that case, you better send it via WhatsApp. So we can't edit. Yeah. Any questions, or we'll move to
Yeah, so any issues like what exactly are side effects and when would you want side effects to take place? Any queries on that? Okay, so then I'm assuming it's clear. So we can go to the new to fill in the blanks actually, and then we can move ahead.
I would like to answer the fourth question. In C, passing by reference is achieved by it is achieved by passing the address of the variable, and after passing the address, we pass the address so that the formal variable, so that the formal parameter and the actual parameter actually point to the same memory location, and the formal parameters are pointers so that they can point to the memory location and cause the side effects on the original variable as well.
Yeah, so basically, passing by reference is achieved by passing pointers, and I'm pretty sure you guys have already used this when you used scanf. So basically, when you use scanf, it is, let's say, %d, comma, and like a. Let's say you're storing it in int a. So this and a basically extracts the location of the pointer and passes that to the function called scanf. So this is basically how you pass by reference. Any questions, or we'll move to next one? Would anyone like to take fifth question?
Yeah, I'll take the fifth question.
Arrays are always passed by value because for example, if ARR is an array of 10 elements, then ARR of 1 is already a pointer which points to the what?
No, arrays are passed by reference, not value. This is value.
No, actually, because ARR of 0 is already a pointer, so we cannot actually change that value again inside a function.
I guess it's passed by
Let
reference.
Karthik take
Passed by
the
reference.
question, please.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so that the answer is that it's basically passed by reference. The the thing with arrays is that the array names themselves are pointers, right? So you don't really need to write something explicitly like, you know, int asterisk. So int and square brackets themselves mean that it's a pointer. So the answer is that yes, it is passed by reference. It's just that you don't explicitly create a pointer, but yeah, you know, whatever happens, you know, it's just the pointer that travels from the calling function up to the called function. That is the idea. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, any questions, or we'll just move to the next one? Yeah, I guess we'll move to the next one. Would anyone like to take sixth?
I can try if nobody wants to. So, like I earlier said, when you pass by reference, you're actually passing the address of the original values that you accept, right? So, in case there's any changes in these values in the function, like if you want to modify something, or you're changing these values unknowingly, then what happens is anywhere else where these values are used later on in the main function or any other call, these values will be changed there as well. So they might result in some undesirable changes and give you a different random output or something. So what you have to do is you have to be mindful of where these values are used and how these values are changing if you're passing by reference. In case you want to retain the original values, then you shouldn't pass by reference. Like suppose Yeah, like in the swap example, if you have a and b as 5 and 8, and then you use a function to swap these values by, and you pass these values by reference. In case later on, suppose in another function you want to find the difference between a and b, so you do a minus b. If you pass these values by, if you pass a and b by value, I mean if you pass by value, then it creates a fake, right? It creates a duplicate, two new duplicate values of a and b. So the original values won't change. But then if you pass by reference, then the same values get swapped. So when you run the function, the difference function, then if you pass by value, then you get a different answer, and if you pass by reference, you get a different answer because it affects the original value.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, you have to make sure that you don't modify something you don't want to modify. Another concern when you are returning or even calling a function by reference. So it's basically the if you are using, let's say, if you're passing around arrays, so you should be. I hope it's okay for everyone. If not, just put it in chat. Yeah, so if you're passing stuff by, if you're passing an array by reference, you should make sure that the functions or your program knows the size of the array. So for example, if your function modified the size of the array or something like that, and then if your another function tries to access the array like out of bounds, so you'll get basically a segmentation fault. So especially like resizing arrays should be treated very carefully, stuff like resizing arrays. And yeah.
So there was some some break for me in voice. I just hope that the discussion was fine and you can understand whatever was being said by the shepherds. So I guess we are done. We have discussed question 6 as well, right? So I
Excuse
think
me, sir.
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have a question related to syntax of
Uh,
passing. Sir, can I write the code in the chat and we
uh,
can discuss then?
what you can do then is that please send it to me over email, because what
Okay,
happens
sir.
is on WebEx chat, uh, it actually removes all the white spaces, so it becomes very difficult to read the code, right?
Okay,
Uh,
sir.
right. So maybe send it over to me over email. I'll open that tab and share it with the shepherds.
Sir, it's actually the program, like the program in this slide, the trim program.
So is it in the slides? Let me open up the
Yeah.
slides.
Yes,
Just a
sir.
minute. 8.1. Can you tell me the heading of the slide? Which slide is it?
Sir, 1 second. Sir, I don't actually have opened the program trim string.c.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So there is a swapping program, and that's
so
imperfect.
below that one, yes, sir. So below the perfect swapping, I suppose.
What is the name of the program that you have opened?
So trim string.c.
Okay, let me open that directly in Google Drive. Just a minute. Trim. Sample programs. Week 8. Trim string. Okay, so I'm now sharing this one. Stop sharing. Share. Tab. Can you guys see the program now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, here while we were declaring the trim function, we have taken the formal parameter as this string array, and while we are calling the function, we are passing a address that is str.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm unable to understand, sir, this format.
So any shepherd would like to answer this? Let me just do this a little bit. You guys can see the code now, right? Okay, so then any shepherd would like to answer. Please go ahead.
Could you repeat your question?
Yeah.
Last part.
Yes, while we are calling the function trim str, we are passing this str, that is the 0th index of hello. So we are passing basically an address, but while we are declaring the trim function, we have the actual parameter, sorry, the formal parameter is character string. So I suppose this is an array and we are passing a address. I'm unable to relate both of these things.
Array is
So
always passed by reference only.
basically,
Therefore,
this
Yes,
is, as I understand it, this is your question is about the syntax, right? Not the
yes,
logic.
yes.
Yeah. So basically, the syntax, as far as I know, char pointer and char str and those brackets are basically the same thing. So you could also write char star str. It would mean the same thing. So basically, whenever you declare, even when you declare stuff like this, like char str bracket equals hello, even then you could replace it with char star str.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So, like, if you are familiar with like Java or Python, then I guess you would be confused. But here, it's just basically the same thing as pointers. I hope that clears it up. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, so I guess that was a good question. It's basically a syntax thing, right? I mean, it's not really something that is related to the concept. So this is a kind of syntax, C syntax. Okay. Yeah. Any more queries, guys? And not just related to the functions. This part. I mean, so basically, the functions lecture was actually a two-part lecture. I split it up into two parts so that. Because I wanted to talk about so many things in parallel, right? So arrays, pointers, functions, structures. Um, that is why some of the concepts I have broken them into two parts. Okay, so part one and part two. So anything about functions in general now, okay, including whatever we covered in the. Shall I stop sharing this? Is the doubt clear now? I hope so, right? So I'm just stopping the share for this. Um, okay, so yeah, so in general, anything about functions, and in fact, let me just reshare the document. If there is any question that you would like us to go ahead again, then you can also do that because we have time now. So if you want any more discussion on any of these questions or something that we discussed in the previous part of functions, you are free to ask it now.
मुझे रिकर्जन पे पूछना है
सॉरी, हाँ बताइए, केती बताइए।
सर मतलब रिकर्जन आप किस टाइम पे यूज करें? जैसे कल मैंने फिबोनाची सीरीज पे यूज किया तो वहाँ पे रिकर्जन आइटरेशन के कंपैरेटिव स्लो हो जाता है।
कीर्ति, आपकी आवाज थोड़ी धीमी आ रही है, थोड़ा आप ऐसे आप अपना माइक चेक कर सकते हो।
अब
So I think she's.
या तो फिर आप, अच्छा ठीक है, आप बोलिए, हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं सुनने की, आप बोलिए।
सर मतलब रिकर्जन हमें किस टाइम पे यूज करना होता है? क्योंकि जैसे कल फिबोनाची सीरीज पे मैंने किया तो वहाँ पे वो आइटरेशन के कंपैरेटिव स्लो हो जाता है।
हाँ वो फिबोनाची में स्लो हो जाए, हाँ, बट हम फिबोनाची को सिंपली भी कर सकते हैं। वो तो सिर्फ एक एग्जांपल था कि रिकर्जन से कैसे करना है। और रिकर्जन मतलब कुछ ऐसे होते हैं क्वेश्चन जिसमें सिर्फ रिकर्जन से ही होगा। फिबोनाची 2 मेथड से हो रहा था।
Not really ऐसे नहीं, मतलब एज जैसे कंप्यूटर काम करता है उस मेथड से देखेंगे। सो रिकर्जन हमेशा हम आइटरेशन से इटरेशन से रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं। मे बी हमें थोड़ा कोई क्यू या फिर कुछ ऐसे एरे या समथिंग यूज करना पड़ेगा, बट आइटरेशन recursion can always be replaced by iteration. But इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि recursion useless है. Recursion जैसे सर ने बताया वैसे recursion first मतलब फर्स्ट गो के लिए या फिर फर्स्ट ड्राफ्ट के लिए बहुत अच्छा होता है, क्योंकि रिकर्जन कुछ बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स को बहुत सिंपल कर देता है. तो इवन दो वो स्लो हो जाएगा, बट फर्स्ट कंसेप्ट क्या है या फिर करेक्ट व्हाट्स द करेक्ट पाथ ये देखने के लिए रिकर्जन इज अ एक्सीलेंट टूल. ऑल्सो कुछ केसेस ऐसे होते हैं जहाँ पे आइटरेटिव वाला सॉल्यूशन लिखने में बहुत टाइम चला जाएगा. सो समटाइम्स मतलब स्पेशली अगर कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग वगैरह कर रहे हैं तब इतना ज्यादा टाइम नहीं होता. लाइक यू हैव टाइम लिमिट्स लाइक मे बी 4 hours 5 hours. तो फिर उतने टाइम में हमें लेट्स से 5-6 क्वेश्चंस करने हैं. इन दैट केस रिकर्जन विल एंड अप एज फास्टर. ऑल्सो और एक रिकर्जन का फायदा ये होता है कि कोड जो होता है वो रीडेबल बन जाता है. मतलब अगर आइटरेटिव करेंगे तो उसमें जो कोई भी एरे या उस पे जो ऑपरेशंस हो रहे हैं वो ऐसे सीक्वेंशियली होंगे, फिर कभी आगे जाओगे कभी पीछे जाओगे. मतलब बेसिकली बहुत कन्वोल्यूटेड हो जाता है कोड, और एक दिन 5-6 दिन बाद तुम खुद ही पढ़ने लगोगे, खुद को मे भी समझ में नहीं आएगा. सो फॉर कोड रीडेबिलिटी रिकर्जन इज रियली गुड.
Okay, thank you.
एंड वन लास्ट थिंग कि व्हेन यू रीड जब आप ऐसे मैथ या प्योर कंप्यूटर साइंस के पेपर्स रिसर्च पेपर्स वगैरह पढ़ोगे तब काफी क्वेश्चंस के सॉल्यूशंस आर यूजुअली गिवन एज रिकर्जन. मतलब f of x is defined as f of x is defined as something, and then again f of something else. So in case of Fibonacci, f of x is defined as 1 if f is 1, and f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2 if n is greater than equal to 3. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pranav.
Yeah.
So yeah, any more queries? This is in general about functions. Okay. So I guess we have finished it up in well within time. We
So there's a
can.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's a question in chat. Can you explain how to return more than one value from function? Would anyone like to take this up?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes, more than for returning more than one value, we pass it by reference, na? Means we change the original values only. Then no need to return. Therefore, we pass it by reference.
Yeah, something like that. So basically, if all of your values are of the same type, you can return a pointer to that array. And if that's not the case, please wait until tomorrow or the next lecture. I think like the next lecture's topic is structs. That will make it completely clear how to pass more than one. So basically, if you use a struct, you can pass more than one values, even if they're not of the same type. But just one lecture, I guess you should wait one lecture. Yeah. More questions, anyone?
So guys, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Because for me the voice was breaking, so I'm not sure. So it's like this, guys. Let's say I have the function like this. Okay, so let's just say I want to return something. I mean, I'm just coming up with an example. So let's just say I want to return. Let's say this one is. So I want to return the square as well as cube of number from this. Okay. So like one way to do something like this. It's a trick only, right? I mean, it is not definition. You can only return one value, okay, but it is a trick. How do I do this? It's like this. I simply say value at e equal to value at e into value at p. So this will make it a I think this should work. So this will create the this will actually put the square of this value 5 in the same place as wherever 5 was stored before, right? And then if you want to return the cube, you can do something like this. Return, come on, autocorrect. Return asterisk p. Okay, I'll probably have to okay, let's just assume I'm returning square as well as power 4. Okay, so then this is what will return the power 4. So now return val will have what? 5 into 5 25, 125, and what? 625. So this will have 625 and this will have 25. I mean, this is a trick, right? I mean, it's not really a clean way to do that, but the idea is that if you want more than one values to be returned by a function, essentially you pass some variable to the function as a parameter, and then you make the changes, and the parameter should be passed by reference, of course, and whatever changes you make in that particular variable, that is visible to the calling function. Okay, so that is kind of returning another value. You can return a value explicitly, and if you want to send back more values, this is a kind of trick that you send it as a parameter, and you simply pass the address of the parameter, and whatever is assigned in this called function, it will be visible to you in the calling function. Is it clear now? I mean, can you understand this trick? That is what I meant, that if you want to send back more than one value, this is one way to do it. This pass by reference part I will just take up. But is this part clear? This example clear? That what exactly am I trying to do here? I want two values from this function. I want the square of the value as well as value to the power 4, right? But I can only return one of them. That is by convention. So what I'm doing is I'm returning this power 4 here, right? And then this is basically being returned implicitly, as in I can still access it. That is the idea. So is this part clear? This is what I actually meant when I said sometimes you need more than one values from a called function. So this is a kind of a trick to do that. Okay, so last thing that we can probably discuss is this something related to C++. So let me tell you that this is actually a terminology problem. Okay, the confusion that you will see while you are studying C++ and C simultaneously is that when we simply use the term pass by reference without actually talking about any particular language. So here the term reference is a concept. Okay, it is not a property of any particular language. It is a concept. The concept is that instead of passing a particular value, okay, you are basically talking about a variable, a place in the memory, whatever way you like to look at it. So essentially whatever changes are made, those changes are reflected back in the calling function. So whatever mechanism you use to do that, the idea is that you are not just passing a value, but you are passing a placeholder. Okay, this placeholder could be the name of the variable, the address of the variable, whatever way it is implemented in the background. But when I talk about pass by reference as a concept, the term reference means something else. When I talk about C++, okay, then in C++, reference is also a it's a property. It's something that C++, the language, provides you. That ampersand and variable name, that is the reference to that particular variable, and it is a property that is specific to C++. Okay, so that is why in C++ we actually have three different ways to call a function. Call by value is exactly the same. It is whether it is in C or C++ or basically any other language. Call by value simply means you copy the values from point A to point B. Okay, so everything that is there the calling function, it gets copied into the called function. So that is there in C++. Calling using pointers is also exactly the same. So you declare the formal parameter to be of a type pointer, and whatever you pass from the calling function is an address. So that is also the same. It is the same in C. It is the same in C++. C++ also provides you an additional way. Okay, and this additional way is by using the references. One of the advantage that probably I think of is that if you use references, you don't have to explicitly know the concept of a pointer. That is the idea, right? Avoiding the whole study of pointers, then if you use references, you can simply references are more like pointer constants in some way, and they cannot be null. That is another aspect between. This is a difference. If you declare the type of a formal parameter as a pointer, then it can also be passed null. But if you declare it, if you are using call by reference in C++, it has to be a variable. Its reference has to be a variable. That is why it cannot be null. So that is, in my view, that is the only thing that I can come up with. I don't really have a precise answer of why C++ allows another way to do this. So if we go back to the terminologies, the issue is both pass by pointer as well as pass by reference are actually in C++ are example of the pass by reference concept. Okay, the pass by reference concept, there are two ways to do that in C++. Either you can pass references or you can pass pointers. In C, we do not have the concept of a reference. So the only way to achieve pass by reference is using pointers. Okay, so that is why the confusion is there, where when you talk to a guy who has been coding in C++, um, that person would say, okay, pass by reference is not the same as pass by pointers. But for other languages, okay, languages which probably do not even have pointers, like Java, for example, okay, in Java, objects are always passed by reference, and primitive values are passed by value, right? We don't say passed by pointer or something else. Why? Because here the concept of reference is implicit. It is a concept. It is a programming concept, not a C++ concept. um, Again, I understand that this is not something that we should discuss in the class. It's we are only studying C, but I do understand that most of you are also taking up parallel C++ classes, so there is bound to be a confusion here. So this is the only reason I said this, that one very simple way to assume to understand this is there are actually two ways to do pass by reference in C++. You can either pass pointers or references, and in C there's just one way to do that, and that is using the pointers only. Is that clear now? um, and even if it is not clear, don't be too much worried about it. It's like uh, if you are using C++, just go ahead and use references. If you are using C, just go ahead and use pointers. The actual terminology doesn't really matter. Okay, whatever terminology you use, the idea is that you should understand the overall concept, right? That in pass by value, you copy the values from the calling function to the called function, and hence there are no side effects in the calling function. And in pass by reference, you basically see the side effects in the calling function, and hence you can use it to your own advantage. That is the idea. The example that I have given here in this this code, this is an example of how you can use the side effects for your own advantage. That is it, right? I mean, uh, but you have to be careful. You should not, for example, the most common problem with newcomers is that they often pass arrays to a function, and there they change it, and they expect that the array will remain exactly the same in the calling function, but they are in for a surprise. Okay, the array has changed, and that is because uh, even though it looked like that you are passing it by value, arrays actually get passed by reference. So that is the only thing you should know, that whenever on what places should you be wary these side effects, on what places you should be ready to accept side effects, and on what other places you would like it to be restricted. That is the only thing. Okay. Yes, Jay, that is right. So that is, I mean, from the so it's like this. C was never meant to be a language which actually supported pass by reference. Okay, passing pointers is a common way to achieve the pass by reference effect, right? So that is why I said C doesn't even have a concept like reference. It's just that if you want to use references, you essentially use pointers. That is the overall idea. Okay. Any more queries? No, Nehal. I don't think I mean I have never actually seen anything. Maybe there is some. So you all know that the C is one of the more obfuscate languages, right? So you can actually write code that is very difficult to read, right? So that is why sometimes it is used to uh, write code that is purposefully difficult to understand. So if there is some obfuscate way to do that, I don't know, but as far as I know, there is no straight way to work to send arrays by value. Okay, they'll always be sent by reference. And as Jay just said, right, that because actually uh, it's the reason that arrays become the passing of arrays become an example of pass reference is because arrays themselves are nothing pointer to a block of memory. They are not really different variables. They are basically pointers to a contiguous block of memory. So that is why it becomes difficult to come up with a plan where you can simply copy everything from point to point B without doing it explicitly, as you just said. So yeah, any more on functions in general? See, so strings are just arrays. They are character arrays. So whatever is true for an array, that is true for a string. There is, of course, one issue, and that I think I should have probably put in the slides as well. So there are two ways in which we often use strings. Like I'll show you this. Let me give you an example. So one way to create a string is something like this. You do something like this. Okay. So you understand what will this statement do? It will basically create, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 5 plus 1, 1 for the null character. Yeah. So basically the size of str is 6, right? So essentially this is equivalent to writing this str 6 equal to hello. It's just that you are you are allowed not to put this here. Okay, 6. You can also do, and this is perfectly valid, and we have seen this in certain examples, something like this. Right now, for most cases, okay, these three are equivalent for most cases. Okay, but this is the difference. This is, the third one is actually of a string constant. Okay, and so if try to do something like this, str plus plus, then this versus, okay, the names ARR, maybe, yeah, ARR is fine. I'll just remove this one. Let's call it ARR, and let's this. Okay, so these are this difference, and this difference I think we have discussed in the arrays versus pointers thing as well. So what I told you was that while this is a legal thing to do, you can actually increment a star, str, you cannot do this, right? This I have told you in the previous week. Now, this is where something interesting comes up. Let us say you have a function which is accepting something like this. Void func. You declare it like this. Char arr this. I think this is what the trim function does, right? The trim function declares it like this. So one thing is for sure, you are not allowed to do arr plus plus, right? Because that is invalid, right? This part you can understand. Similarly, there is one more issue. You are allowed to do it like this. If you change it to char asterisk arr, then this becomes a valid thing to do. You can do arr plus plus. It is simply point to the next character. But now this is the interesting part. If you try to do something like this, arr 0 equal to h, okay, and it was declared like this. Let me remove it. So now I'm calling this function in two ways, right? One is like this, func arr, and the other one is func str. Okay, this one um, will give you some kind of problem. It could be a segmentation fault or something like that. Why? The idea is this. Here I'm simply creating a string constant. A string constant cannot be changed in the memory. This is the idea, right? There are many reasons for it. I don't want to go into the details, but the idea is something like this. While this is a perfectly valid thing, you are allowed to do it like this, okay, irrespective of what you declare. This is also fine. And in fact, let me also write it like this. Sorry, I'm making it a little more confusing for you. Let's just make another function, func2, and make it like this, arr 0, arr, come on, is it really 0 or o? I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, it's 0 equal to h. Okay. So now let us see all these four cases: func2 arr, func2 str. So let us just see which of these are valid and which of these are not valid. So let us start with this func arr. Okay, so what is it doing? It is basically passing the starting address of arr, the array, to this function. Okay, and if you try to go and change the first element of that array, it is allowed. Okay, why? Because you can actually change the individual elements of the array. There is no issue with it. Similarly, if you try to do this, okay, this is also allowed. So essentially here arr and arr are just it doesn't matter. You can either use this formulation or this formulation. It's perfectly fine. So both these are perfectly fine. Now with this one, okay, this is going to create a problem. Okay, this is going to also and it won't probably give you a compilation error, but you will run into some problem at the runtime. So you might get something like segmentation fault or something like that. So both these formulations are problematic. Why? Because this is what I said. This string, right? This character array is actually a constant. Your compiler is not going to let you change this h to small h. Okay, this is the idea. This is what I was trying to tell you. I still don't know whether I should have gone into so much details, but this is something that you will probably observe that this is actually a string constant. Okay, this is if you do something like this, it is equivalent to, in the integer philosophy, this is equivalent to saying um, 5 equal to 5 plus 1. Okay, and this is wrong. That is the idea, that when you're trying to change uh, a string constant compiler will complain. This is a string constant. This is not a string constant. Okay, this is basically a character array which has been initialized with a string constant. Okay, so you can again go and change this, but here this is actually a string constant in memory, and you are creating a pointer that points to that string constant, and then you are not allowed to do this. Again, if you don't understand all this, don't be worried. This was just an advanced thing that I talked about because we had some.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, if we declare a string and then if we do scanf, then can we modify it?
See, it's like this. How do you declare a string? That is the idea. If you are basically declaring it like this, okay, that is fine. You understand? The difference between arrays and pointers are almost the same, but they are not exactly the same. That is the idea, that when you create an array, the compiler expects that you are going to change the individual elements of this array. It could, and if it is a character array, it can be treated like a string. But when you declare a pointer like this, okay, then this becomes a constant, and this constant cannot be changed. That is the idea. Okay, so if you have declared something like this, what you're trying to say is, if can I use str for scanf or not? Is this what your question is?
No, sir, I got it. I was actually asking that if we input a string and then we modify it like that. I got it.
Okay, you got it right. So I just hope. By the way, I'm really sorry. I should not have taken up these things. It will probably have, it would have confused so many people. But my idea is that you can just try out some code like this, okay, and also try like create two more functions. Void func3, okay, and just use it like this. I just copy paste it. That is easier. So I'll so create like four functions, and here you do this arr plus plus, okay, arr plus plus, and just check what happens. I mean, that would probably be a best thing to do, right? That give you the answer all the discussions we had. Create four functions like these, and then create one string like this, one string like this, and then try to pass it to all these functions. So you'll have like 8 function calls, and check what happens with each function call. Okay, that will probably be a better thing to do. I should not have discussed it like this. Jay, that is by design, that whenever you try to assign a value to a pointer like this, string is a different type of variable as such, right? um, this is allowed, Nihal. So the idea is that if you do it like this, char asterisk str equal to hello, so essentially what happens is, at some place in the memory, enough amount of space, that is, so for hello you need 6 bytes of space, right? So the compiler will figure out 6 bytes of space in the memory, and it'll put h, e, l, l, o and null character in that place, and then the starting address of that is given to str. That is the idea, right? uh, and this is the problem, right? So the reason why this allowed is something like this. If I do write something like this later, char asterisk str2 equal to hello. Okay, so let us say I create another pointer. Now at this point of time, it is possible that my compiler will not create another 6 bytes. Okay, what it will do is, it has some kind of a table where it knows that I have already created the string constant hello, and if another pointer is sought to the same string, this will actually point to the same location where str is pointing. Okay, and this is why it will disallow changing this location to, let us say, small hello. Okay, this is the reason that there might be another pointer that is pointing to the same constant memory location, and if I allow you to change it, then everything goes bad. That is the idea, right? Again, don't don't. This is probably an advanced thing. I should not have made these discussions in the class. Uh, but what you can do is you can run some of this code. Someone can do it and maybe report his or her findings to the whole class. That will probably be better, right? So play with uh, arrays and strings like this, arrays and pointers like this, and see what is allowed when. Okay, even when we are passing it to a function. That is the idea. Okay, try out all the combinations. Create a pointer, pass it, and receive it in an array. Create an array, receive it in a pointer. Create a pointer, receive it in a pointer, stuff like that. So just try and try do two things. Try to increment the pointer and try to change some character in the array. These are the two operations that I'm trying to say, and see what happens. You'll learn something. And this is specific to the C language. This is not about programming in general. This is specific to C and C++. Okay, sorry guys, we are out of time. So here's the thing: if I get an email from Mary ma'am today for the confirmation, we will have a lab tomorrow and day after tomorrow. I don't know which section will have the lab when. I'll just have to check. But one of you have a lab on Tuesday, and the other one has it on Wednesday. But that is provided Mary ma'am can confirm that slot today. Okay, if they do, then we'll have a lab from 1 to 3 tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys. We should break now. Okay, bye.